The U.S. government and TikTok have been at odds for years. The Chinese-owned social media app has drawn national security concerns over how it collects and utilizes the data of the over 150 million Americans who use it. But now we're getting a deeper look into the negotiations and what the popular app might have to give up in order to stay in business in the U.S. And these new terms are raising some eyebrows. A 100-page document details how ByteDance would have to give the U.S. government nearly blanket access to ByteDance, and in turn, a near all access pass to your personal data, and could also control the content you see on a daily basis. So here to explain, let's bring a digital business exec and managing director at Strata Americas, Seth Schachner. Seth, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. First of all, we know that there's this proposal out there, but why is there so much focus on TikTok? Is it only because of this connection to China? Because really all apps are collecting our information with these things.
Yeah, they all do collect reasonably similar amounts of data. There isn't really something extraordinarily different that they collect over others, but I think the real distinction is what you pointed out. We're looking at an entity that is qualitatively different than pretty much all the others, in that it's not just an advertising sales team that is behind it. It's a government, it's a state actor, which we have a lot of rivalry with and issues with right now. And I think that's the core reason, actually, that it's being or it's sort of reaching these levels of treatment from CFIUS and other arms of the government, while the others haven't.
So, Seth, there's this 100-page document, we mentioned at the top of this. If this situation with TikTok is somehow resolved, because we're seeing more local governments, state governments banning the app on any type of government device. But, ultimately, won't some other app really end up being a problem? Does it kind of just shift to the next thing?
Yeah, I think the broad strokes are that, sure, there's always tech evolution, and you can look at privacy issues throughout, all different evolutions of social networks, from MySpace going back to AOL, all had different levels of issues with regulators and state regulators. But I think this is, what's happening here sits high above the sort of states that are coming at them from banning them on state devices or trying to do more at a state level, because there really is a perceived national security interest that sits over and around ByteDance, which actually has around 80 other apps. It's not just TikTok. But I do think that what they call Project Texas, and that Europeans call it Project Clover, I believe, which is what looks like something that's almost spun off into the hands of a government to give a government control, is really different and stronger. It is very inconsistent from what I've seen with other social networks and other digital services behind it. So I'm actually somewhat of an optimist if this structure can work for both sides. The real balancing act here is not to shut off an app that every teenager is using, and you wouldn't want to see that happen. That's the real balancing act.
So, Seth, if they already have the information, this is kind of talking about moving forward, but if ByteDance already has all of this information, what is there that really can be done?
Well, there actually are a lot of things that can be done on a user level. I don't know if the press is talking about it, but you could certainly do things like disabling your contacts from being shared and turning down or off ad targeting, and you go out anonymous on it. I think you also have the right to download what TikTok knows about you and really limit your visibility on it. So there are steps that you can take. You don't have to use it. You can delete it as well. It's not like someone's forcing teens to use it. I do think that it's an overwhelmingly popular app that's been adopted by younger generations. So it on some levels, it's clearly here to stay.
My last question for you, Seth, and I always like to ask anybody when we're doing this type of tech segments, is TikTok on your phone?
It is not on my phone. But it is on my teenager's phone, and I know lots of people that work there, and I respect what they're doing. But no, it isn't on my phone.
Just wondering. All right, Seth, thank you so much for giving us some of your time.
It's been here, Nicole.